Hello. So, we're back in the wonderful world of the Amiga. And, certainly this machine will not boot off the hard drive. It does come up and ask for a workbench. So I went out hunting, and I found 2 different workbench things. And I don't know what will happen. But I know that sound is not good. Error validating disk is unreadable. Joy. Well, I don't have a keyboard here or cooked up, so I can't really do what it, or a mouse, so I can't do what it would like me to do. So I'm going to put, I took the hard drive card out. I'm going to put it back in and wiggle it a bit. And see, one nice thing, the hard drive does sound quite fine. And this light here, you probably can't see it, but it's kind of flickering ever so gently, like I'm trying. And now the hard drive light, the actual light on the hard drive, is doing things. And for a second they were actually coordinated, which is what they're supposed to be. But, yeah, I don't think it's going to come. I suppose what I really need to do, firstly, as I look down into the bowels of this machine, there's a battery there, and that is bad. And for those that you don't know about the Amiga and batteries, the batteries were, I'm not sure what kind, it doesn't matter, but anyway, they leak. And when they leak, they can kill things, like ruin circuit boards. And that is not good, no matter what. That is not good. It's not like smoke and flames, it's, oh. Okay, so the hard drive didn't come up. I'm going to try the other workbench. The hard drive, I guess it tried to boot off the drive, but it didn't. So I'm going to try another workbench. Workbench disk. That doesn't sound good. Ah, okay. Same answer. I suppose what I really need to do is go onto my Amiga things and test things a bit at a time to see what is functioning. Because this does have an accelerator card of some, I think it's a 2500 card, I think. It doesn't look like it's fully populated with RAM. It may not be, you know what, it's been a while since I've been into these things. So right now, the disk drive is making the noises it should. Like it clicks and it wants a disk, but this disk drive could be like filthy dirty. It could need cleaning, it's, you know, who knows. So, yeah, but, while I'm here, I am going to unplug this LED thing from the hard drive board. I'm going to take this board out, right out. I am A2091, made by Commodore. I'm tempted, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm always kind of leery of ribbon connector things, especially on boards that I could do harm. So I'm reaching around inside here. Oh, cables. Okay, I have just removed the floppy cable from the floppy drive. And now I can better get at, see, the ribbon cable on the disk drive, it has 2 little magical things that you can push on. And, oh, it looks like there might be some rat shit there. Anyway, so now the board is out, it is removed, it is not a factor. And now, here is something. You know what, I saw some other glasses here. I think this is an accelerator card. I really do. And I'd like to think that these glasses will help me figure it out. And they don't. At all. So many glasses so little time. What is this? All rights reserved, all rights reserved. It's funny, usually there is something that proudly proclaims what the board is. I see things that look like processors, and I believe it's a 68. Anyway, it's, but it may not be, it may just be, no, it can't be just a RAM board. Anyway, here is the board that I speak of. So, it is out. It looks in good shape. It doesn't look like there's anything obviously missing, although if you look on the one end, down there are some RAM chips, but it's certainly not fully populated, so it looks like half of what it could be. So I'm going to very carefully set that down there. Oh, and I still can't get at the battery, because it's under the, oh, holy shit, excuse me. It's underneath this whole thing. It has the power connector. Oh, and oh dear. Golly. And there is the floppy cable giving me a hard time. You know, maybe I could just take it off the board. Oh. You know, sometimes these things get kind of stiff after 30 years. Okay. Say, here, look, you can look at this. Look at this. This disk drive has, I don't know, it's kind of, well, I guess the nice name is corrosion, or gentle rust upon it. There's the hard drive. Does it work? I don't know. Oh, the power supply is not actually secure. So I can just take that. Oh, no, it's on the hard drive. Anyway, I'll just leave this all together. But this is basically, you know, the thing that hovers over the board that holds drives and power supplies and things. I am going to put that right down there and hope that it doesn't do any bad things there. So here is the Amiga 2000, such that it is. This board does look like it has, just move it on here. Well, it definitely has the battery in there. And I'm just trying, it's funny, as I've said before, I have so many lights here, but I can't see. Well, there does seem to be some sort of residue around the battery. It doesn't look awful. Obviously the machine kind of comes alive. I have not really researched this as much as I should have. But, oh look, a soldering iron. Even though it's probably, I mean, whatever has happened will happen, etc. But I'm thinking it's still not a bad thing to get that battery out of there. Maybe they thought these machines would never be viable, or anyone would use them for long enough. And I'm suspecting, and looking at this thing, that it's going to take a little doing and some tremendous heat to get it out, because the battery, I suspect, has a way of dissipating the heat. I suppose I could just cut the sucker off. But I don't think I will do that. I'm going to let this iron get nice and warm. And I'm going to look into my toolbox. Right at the top here I do have screwdriver things. And I think the kind that I would want is something like that. It's metal, it's strong, and small enough to sort of wedge in there. Now, while I'm here, waiting for the soldering iron to heat up, maybe, if I've not ruined this yet, is the screw. Here it is. It might be that this same screwdriver might be small enough for me to get these funky bifocals back together. But you know, it's one of those things, now that's too big, it's one of those things where I really have to have glasses on to fix these glasses. Let me look back. I'm sure there's something similar and smaller, I think. Ooh, that looks tiny. Meanwhile, the soldering iron is indeed plugged in. Let's see here. So even though I should really have glasses on, I have a horrible feeling that I'm going to get this all lined up, or almost, and then it's going to spring. And then the chances of ever finding that screw again will be gone. Alright. I'm in. The screwdriver is in. But where it was. You know, I used to have really great vision of all sorts. And my grandmothers used to tell me to exercise your eyes and look over here and look over there and look at things close and look at things far, and I did. But you know what? I can't see. Okay, I'm going to gently put this down. I'm going to put that screwdriver there. And I'm going to look for some more glasses. I am. Yes, glasses so I can see well enough. Now, here we have a soldering iron. I am not going to touch it. I am not. Because I don't know if it's hot enough yet. I don't know, I think they call it the duty cycle. I don't know what it is. And you know what? It may not be big enough for this. It may be I have to get Mr. Weller out. I don't know. Anyway, I have it on the battery, and I am trying to see as best as I can if things are heating up. One thing I might also do is just double check the tightness of the screws here. This does not seem, but maybe it is hot enough. But I will find over here this carefully wrapped up solder and look for the end and touch it. And I will find that it is not melting yet. Oh, I wonder. I did plug this in. The power bar is on. I forget completely what the duty cycle of this might be. But while I'm waiting for that to heat up, oh, down here on the floor, never ever plugged in, because you just never know, is a 100 and 140 watt Weller gun. So as much as I don't want to overpower or overheat something, I know that this sucker, as what I remember, oh, the bulb isn't working. what I remember, it has two positions on the switch. I know, oh, I can already see smoke. And what happens is, on the first position, you get the 100 watt. Oh yeah. We have, hang on, let me show you. This heats up nice and fast. Do I have room for this? Oh no, anyway, I'll give it a little test with the solder. Oh yeah. Nothing like a little solder smoke. Anyway, as much as I'm hoping not to be putting this red hot poker in here, I think I'm going to, being very careful to not do any harm here. So, I have it on the battery. I do. But I'm not sure. I think it's soldered in here. It doesn't seem, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of anything happening here, or a whole lot of anything flowing. So I am trying with this little screwdriver. Because I can, it's hot. I know it's hot. It's kind of one of those things where I've got to hold the iron onto the connector, and then that makes it hard, of course, to get anywhere near or under the connector. Maybe I should look on YouTube and see how this is supposed to be done. I don't suppose they're just held in by friction. But anyway, I really don't see much of anything happening there. Now I have a red hot solder iron. I certainly don't want to burn me or something else with it. Oh God. Oh, yeah. I could just cut the battery out. Alright, I have a red hot iron. I am going to reach into this guy, there we go, and put it up on top of that monitor. I have this iron, which now should be really nice and hot. Now this one has an advantage in that it's got a little poker thing that if it is hot enough, mind you, I think it's only 40 watts or so, that maybe if I pry with the heat, that it will come undone. Oh, okay, something happened. Okay, so I stuck the iron under the foot thing, kind of, and pried gently, and the whole thing came off the board. Maybe that's what it's supposed to do. Maybe it's soldered to the bottom of the board. Maybe I should be using the solder sucker. It is getting very hot to the touch. Hello. I'm trying not to hurt anything else in here. This side does seem to have a bigger oh yeah, it's getting hot. So yeah, I think as I was trying to unsolder the little clippy things, that wasn't going to happen. Alright, I'm going to the other side. Okay, and getting a better look at this. Ah! That is hot. I do see there seems to be two connector places. Aha! Come on. Okay, I got one. Two places that connect the battery. Aha! Ah! Okay, I feel good about that. And it's funny, you know, the kind of the dirtiness I see around the board, I can't say if it's anything to do with the battery or not. I don't see that the battery, I can bring it over there. Oh, I see. Okay, so the battery has, oh, it's hot still, 2 prongs on one end and 1 prong on the other end. And I suppose the correct way to remove such a thing, really, is probably take the board out and take a solder sucker. But I didn't do that, but this did work. So, there is no reason to keep this, because I'm sure if I search online to get some sort of replacement, people will know what it is. But boy, it is hot. Anyway, I don't think it has leaked. Although, it's funny, I was talking with somebody and they said, oh, by now, they've all leaked. But, you know what, there's other residue on this board. Like, I don't think it's had the nicest life. So, now, another thing I should do before I forget. Let's unplug this soldering iron. So, here it is. I'm just looking at the back. Model A2000. It does have a serial number. I can't make it out. Hard disk. Rodime. Well, I don't see such a drive in there. Maybe there was supposed to be a drive on the 2091 board, but it isn't. And that the other drive was set up as another drive and it will never boot. To prevent damage, turn power off before connecting or removing cables. Imagine that. Yeah, I cannot read the serial number. It's not that it's too small, it's like it's just almost transparent. Ugh. So yeah, this could use a little cleaning. It could. And certainly the mono video RCA plug has taken a bit of a hit somewhere, but it still seems to be okay. So here are the innards of an Amiga 2000, which I think, and up to that point anyway, I found the Amiga 1000, yeah, they got it out the door, but it really, for expansion, it just, how do I put this gently, it sucked. With all the stick memory things on the side and stick memory things on the side, and yeah. I remember there was a fellow I knew in Florida. He had memory and hard drives and everything hanging off the side, and it was just, it worked most of the time, but you know, like the card, some of the cards were almost like in this, almost like Commodore made them, like made out of a, how would you put it, like a metal enclosure, almost like a filing cabinet thing, but not very well, and they wouldn't always sit nice, and they weren't always, you know, identical in size, so you'd end up with this thing sort of either wanting to push up a bit or push down a bit, or, you know, I mean, you could expand the Amiga 1000, but boy, this 2000, and I'm sure, although I didn't have nearly as much experience with the 3 and the 4, especially, I mean, the slots in here, it's magic. I mean, you load it up. And, you know, there's 5 Amiga slots, and then there's the bridge slots. Oh, for the bridge card, which was another magical thing, although was it really a great, you know, doesn't matter if your Amiga can run IBM stuff, not really. It's kind of like going backwards. But I tell you, and this really pissed me off years ago, here I am, and I may have told this story before, and if I have, go ahead, tell me to stop. Okay, I'll keep going. Here goes. Hang on here. Power supply, power supply. Not to say that there are unscrupulous liars in any industry, but there are. Jesus, excuse me. There was a fellow. Ugh. Okay, so we have the power supply. There was a fellow, and this is when I lived in Florida, and I had a store, and he told people the only way to add a hard drive to an Amiga was by adding a bridge card. And I don't know how many people we encountered who would come in with these Amiga bridge card monstrosities. And not that there was anything wrong with the bridge card. The bridge card was quite fine. It's just that he lied. He flat out lied. And told them, there is no hard drives that you can possibly get on the Amiga side. You have to get the bridge card and then partition and which was, I don't know how to say this in any other way, untrue. And he just, took advantage of people to charge them a whole bunch more than they needed to get a hard drive that worked, but not as well and not as fast as it could have otherwise. And he was not, I find there's all this discussion these days about, bank people you call up or other things you call up, and they have these quotas, and whenever you call, even if you don't need anything, they have to try and sell you something. Well, this is not good customer service. This is like vultures. You know what? Telemarketers are one thing. You can just hang up on them. But when you call, you got a banking issue, you got something with Rogers, or your cell company, whatever, whoever it is. Sorry, not Rogers specifically. But, when you call up, and regardless of what you need, they are under tremendous, and I don't mean a little bit, but they are, and they're taped, so they can listen to them. They are under incredible pressure to sell you something, even if you need nothing. And their jobs are on the line if they don't at least make it sound like they tried. And this is wrong. I do remember hearing about, there was some bank in the UK, and they, long ago, decided, when people call, we're going to try and help them get figured out whatever, and we're not going to force anything on them. Imagine. And now, and of course the other banks, of course, no, don't do that. We are going to try and grasp every single dollar out of everybody at every possible moment we have to talk to them. Alright, what have I done? But anyway, the bank that now just offers good customer service and doesn't dick people around, guess what? They're number one. Okay, so I have put the power supply back into the machine. I have hooked up the power to the main board. I have hooked up the disk drive ribbon cable to both sides of the equation. I'm going to turn it on, and I suspect very quickly it's going to come up and say workbench. Cool. And now, much like before, I'm going to take this disk and I'm going to put it in, and it's going to grind. Oh, it's not grinding. Maybe I have something not. Hello. Oh, okay, something is not right here. No smoke-worthy anything, it should be clunking, like it's looking for a disk, so maybe, does that only go in that one way? Or does it go, no, it goes that way too. Okay, let's try that again. Most of these things, thankfully, are pretty forgiving. So, aha, take this worker. Now, is this going to work? No, it's not going to work. Because I think the disk drive is still dirty. Crunch, crunch, screw you. Okay, so be it. But we are, we're not really getting anywhere, but we're not going backwards. Not yet. So, what do I have? I have an Amiga 2000. It has a hard drive in it that doesn't want to boot up. But it spins. The floppy drive seems to be doing its thing, but it doesn't read. Now, are these disks okay? I don't know. I have two of them. So one would think maybe one of them is okay. I don't know. But I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of this battery. It's now cool. And I'm thankful that it does seem that nothing terrible has happened to this board. But until I get things to boot up, well, who knows. So, I think I'm going to go look for another machine, which I know I have, and then see where it's at, and then see if I can get something stable to test things with. And then see what's working and see what's not. Oh, that is still kind of warm. But I don't see any sign of it leaking. So, yes. So here we are. The first time or so that I've been tinkering on an Amiga, even though there in the background is a big Amiga banner. So, as always, comments, questions, don't hesitate. And, of course, I remain at your service. Bye for now.